Hi everyone, I'm Chung Wen for Gotomy Mobile, and in this video we're going to go ahead and review the Samsung Galaxy Gear smartwatch. The Galaxy Gear is a new companion to the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 that launched recently earlier this year. The device also works out of the box with the newer Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition, and Samsung promises compatibility with other Galaxy series devices including the current flagship Galaxy S4, the Galaxy Note 2, and even the Samsung Galaxy S3 via a future software update. In this video, we're going to go ahead and explore some of the hardware features of the Galaxy Gear, and then we're going to go ahead and explore some of the software features and how notifications get pushed either from the Galaxy Note 3, which I have here on the table, or even the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. Let's go ahead and explore the hardware of the feature. First, I'm going to go ahead and take off the Gear from my wrist, and all you have to do is to lift on the deployment clasp, and it should snap off easily. The Galaxy Gear does have a stainless steel band around the front, which gives it a nice premium feel. It does have bolts, which gives it a more rugged feel. The only problem I have with the bolts is that, as you can see on the top, the bolts are actually pretty symmetrical and they both curve inwards or line so that they slant inwards, but on the bottom the bolts don't line up properly, and it just gives it a cheapened feeling when one bolt is angled that way and the other is angled this way. However, the stainless steel band does surround a gorgeous 320 by 320 pixel display. So it's a square resolution screen. It's a Super AMOLED display, so you're going to have deep dark blacks and vibrant colors, as you can see here on the watch screen. It is a 1.63-inch display, and then the band itself is made of silicone or a rubberized material, and it does have a nice ribbing effect to it. The Galaxy Gear is available in a number of different colors, so you can personalize the watch to fit your different fashion mood or your taste. The band itself, on the outer edge or on the outside edge, it does have a ribbed texture, so it's kind of similar to the groove or striated texture here on the plastic band that surrounds the Galaxy Note 3, and also that on the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition. The band here is actually plastic and not metal, but it's made to look like metal. The band is also adjustable, so here, after you unbuckle the deployment clasp, what you'll notice on the inside is that there's a little pin that gets pushed into one of these little holes on the wristband itself, and all you'd have to do is lift up on the band, and then you can go ahead and align the pin into a new hole to fit your wrist. So if you have a smaller wrist, you would want to move the pin up towards the watch, and if you have a bigger wrist, you would want to move it away from the watch. And go ahead and keep it somewhat in the middle for the purposes of this demonstration today. And when you're wearing the watch itself, you would want to wear the watch with the camera. You do have a 2-megapixel camera on the band itself, so you want to wear the camera facing away from you. So this is how I would put it on my left wrist. In terms of other features of the band itself, you do have a speaker here. It's actually a pretty robust speaker if you're in a quiet room or a quiet setting. So the speaker actually does sound rather rich and nice if you're in a quiet environment, but if you're in an urban area with a lot of street traffic or even city noise, the other person you're calling is going to sound very washed out right away. In terms of using the device as a Bluetooth speakerphone, it does connect to your phone via a Bluetooth 4.0 low energy radio. So in order to use it as a speakerphone, the watch itself does have microphones on both sides of the watch. Here you have it on the upper left-hand side, and also a second microphone on the lower right. One of the microphones will serve to cancel out background noise, so it does have noise cancellation as well, which is a nice feature. So this is pretty much the hardware of the Galaxy Gear. Unfortunately, as you can see here, the watch and the band is one piece, which means you can't swap out the band for another color, so you're going to have to pick out the color when you buy the watch itself. It does come in yellow, the orange color which I have here, a mocha gray or mocha brown color, black, and a white wristband. There's also another white version which comes with a gold plated face. It's not real gold, but it's made to look like gold. So it does give the fashion conscious technology wearer some options to accessorize. In order to pair the Galaxy Gear with your smartphone so that it can intelligently route calls to your wrist or even notifications to your wrist, what you're going to do first is you're going to go to the Samsung App Store. Not the traditional Google Play, but the Samsung Apps icon. Let's see, right here. And then you're going to go ahead and search for Galaxy Gear and download the Gear Manager application. I've already downloaded Gear Manager, so let's go ahead and launch Gear Manager and see some of the settings within the Gear Manager. So when you first launch Gear Manager, it's going to ask you whether you want to manually pair the device and enter in the PIN code to do it over the Bluetooth connection, or you can have a second option to automatically pair with NFC. The Galaxy Gear does ship with this cradle. It's a charge and sync cradle. It does have the NFC built into the cradle, but not to the watch. However, the watch and the cradle are linked together. So what you would want to do is you're going to tap the back of the phone to the back of the cradle, and then you're going to pair it that way via NFC. And this is also how you would charge the watch as well. As you can see, the cradle does have this faux leather on the front, and it does have the stitching that's the hallmark of the Galaxy Note 3. So you have the same faux leather and the faux stitch design on the back of the Galaxy Note 3 on the Gear's cradle. There's a slider here. You're going to slide it down, and it's going to open the cradle up and expose the charging pins here. And you're going to line it up with the charging pins on the watch, drop the watch in, and then close the cradle. On the back of the cradle, you have a micro USB 2.0 charge and sync cable or port. What you're going to notice is that although this uses micro USB 2.0, the Galaxy Note 3 uses a micro USB 3.0 for faster speeds. The Galaxy Note 3 is backwards compatible with the micro USB 2.0, but if you use the same cable and decide to only take one cable with you if you're traveling, you might as well take the USB 2.0 cable because it will work with both devices. If you take the micro USB 3.0 to get the faster data and charge speeds, you're not going to be able to use the same cable with the Galaxy Gear. So it's just a little nuanced thing to consider when you're packing your bags for a trip. So after you pair the watch, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the settings and the applications that Galaxy Gear Manager provides. So if you tap on the Galaxy Gear icon, this is the one that we paired, you can go ahead and rename the gear so it doesn't have the serial number in the name, so you can call it whatever you want. You can connect or disconnect your gear. Only one watch can be paired with one phone. So if you want to pair it with a different watch, you're going to have to disconnect and then connect a new gear. And as the Gear runs Android 4.3 itself, the same operating system as the Galaxy Note 3, you can go ahead and check for software updates. So if there's a new version of Android or Samsung tweaked the OS or the UI, it's going to post it to its own server, and you can go ahead and check for the new software update this way. And if there is a software update, it's going to go ahead and download it to your Galaxy Note 3 or Note 10.1 2014 edition, and then it's going to transfer the data to the watch via Bluetooth 4.0. So aside from software updates, it's going to give you options to change the watch, the clock face, to adjust different apps and settings for different apps, and download additional apps. Let's go ahead and take a look at these one by one. So right now I have the Analog Clock 2, which has orange tickers on it. But if I want to change it to, say, an antique analog clock, I can go ahead and do that. And as you can see, the Galaxy Gear does update itself pretty quickly once you change the watch face. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this here for a while, and you can even download the Watch Styler application from the Samsung App Store, and it will allow you to create your own watch face using some predefined themes, so this way you can have even more customization. My Apps just gives you basically the apps that are preloaded on the Galaxy Gear, and if you tap on the little gear icon to the right, it's going to give you access to additional settings within each app's application itself. And then directly inside Gear Manager is the Samsung apps, and this gives you specific applications that are compatible and designed for Galaxy Gear. I've been playing with the Galaxy Gear for about a week now since it first launched, and there are a number of apps, although not too many third-party apps. There's an eBay app which will push notifications for when your auction's about to end, if you've been outbidded, or if there are any changes to any of your auction listings. So it's going to give you notifications to your wrist as well. There's a Vivino wine scanner app. So this is independent. It doesn't require another copy of the app to reside on the phone. And the Vivino wine app actually uses the 2 megapixel camera here to scan wine bottles and give you additional information about the wine if you're new to wines or want to learn more. We're going to go ahead and cover the Vivino app in just a second. And then some applications like your sports and fitness app like Runkeeper and Runtastic requires a version for the Gear as well as a separate copy of the app to run on the phone. So it does require 2 components, whereas certain apps only require a version for the Gear itself only. So as you can see, there are not very many third-party apps at this time for the Galaxy Gear. Samsung promises a lot more apps will be forthcoming because developers only need to tweak a few lines of code to get traditional Android apps to actually work just for Gear. So it's a nice way to do it, to entice developers to create apps for Gear. And then Find My Gear actually makes the Gear vibrate and turn on and beep. So this way, if you took your watch off and you don't know where you placed it, you can go ahead and find your Gear that way. And there's a Find My Phone app on the Gear which does the same, so that your phone turns on and chimes so you can find your phone with your Gear if you set your phone down and don't know where it is. And with the Settings app, you can adjust which applications get notifications on the Gear. Most of these are preloaded apps on the phone itself, like Chat On and email are part of the phone. Gmail is part of the phone. Facebook. There are some third-party apps as well. And although, just to caution, although I'm a heavy user of Gmail and I rely on the Gmail application a lot, I did not select the notifications for Gmail, and instead I use it for the Samsung email application. And one of the reasons is that with Gmail and some third-party applications like Facebook, it's going to tell you, hey, you got a notification via the watch, but once you look at the notification on the watch, it's not going to display the message itself. It's basically going to tell you, pull out your phone, and then you can read the message there. So with the Gmail and the Facebook app, that's traditionally what happens. It's going to say, hey, you have a Facebook notification, but I'm not going to show it on the watch. So it's kind of pointless to have notifications for a number of those apps. Let's go ahead and take a look at notifications itself. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the Gear Manager on the phone on the Note 3, and then I'm going to turn off that device. And then I have here the Nokia Lumia 1020, and I'm going to send a text message to my phone. And as you can see, sometimes the notifications come in rather quickly as it does just now, or as it did just now. Sometimes it does take a while for the notifications to come in on the watch. So sometimes there's a 30-second delay where the notifications appear on the phone first and then it will show up on the watch. And I have a feature called Smart Relay on, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the notification right now. So it says, let's get geared up. And let's say it's a long message and I don't want to read it on a 1.63-inch display and I'd rather enjoy it on the larger display. What I can do is I can either tap to show on device, or I can just lift up my phone and it will automatically go to my messaging application, and then it's going to go ahead and go into the message. So I don't have to launch my the message and tap around to open the correct message. So it's a nice feature. It's called Smart Relay. You do have to enable it on the through Gear Manager, so that once you pick up the device when you're in the middle of a notification, it's going to automatically go to that notification. So let's go to emails. I know I have old emails that I've read earlier, but here's a Living Social one. And it will show you a large chunk of the message, but if you want to continue reading, you're going to have to do it on your mobile device. So I can go ahead and click more on mobile device, or I can just go ahead and pick up my phone. And if it's a fresh notification, it should open and launch the email app and then go specifically into this Living Social message itself. So that's a cool part about Smart Relay, is that it's really built and it makes the watch and the Gear seamless between each other, so you can switch off between the two. There are a number of gestures to know within Gear, so we took a look at some of the notifications. So let's go ahead and there's a pedometer on here. So you can go ahead and integrate this with the S Health application on the Galaxy Note 3. So it's going to go ahead and track how many steps you take. But a lot of times I don't take my phone out with me when I'm walking or going for a jog. And this way with the Gear, I can go ahead and have the pedometer continue to activate and work for me when I take just my watch and leave the phone behind. So I can go ahead and sync this with the phone. And then if you swipe down, it's going to take you to the previous menu. And then once you're on the main menu, which is the clock face, if you swipe down again, it's going to activate the camera. And then it's an autofocus camera. So I'm going to go ahead and angle it downwards here to take a picture of the phone. And then all you need to do is tap and it will take a picture of the phone itself. And then you can swipe over to the side and it will launch your gallery application. So surprisingly, with the 2 megapixel camera, the Gear actually does take quite detailed pictures with good lighting. In darker lights or mixed lighting conditions, the Gear does suffer from slightly degraded dynamic range, in that shadows get washed out and you don't retain a lot of the details, and then the bright areas get blown out. But with good lighting, the Gear actually does a remarkable job given the constraints of a 2 megapixel camera. I'm going to go ahead and post all the pictures that I've taken with the Gear on GotoBeMobile.com in the Galaxy Gear review. So be sure to visit www.GotoBeMobile.com for the full video samples and image samples itself. Another use with the camera is that you can use it with the Vivino application. I'm going to go ahead and launch Vivino. And I have this cheap bottle of wine here. It's called Foodies. And let's say I know nothing about wine. Let's go ahead and do this. I can go ahead and launch the Vivino application. And it will look up the wine label. It's going to have me take a picture of the wine label and then look it up in the archive and then tell me a little bit more information about the wine. So I'm going to go ahead and do it from down here. Let's see if it can identify the wine. So it did. Gives me average rating, price, any user review, and short description, and even some pairing. So it says with the Cabernet Sauvignon, I can pair it with beef, lamb, spicy foods, and poultry. So for novices who enjoy wine but don't know too much about wine, Vivino is a handy application. And then you can even use the Galaxy Gear to dial out. So again, it does have the speaker and the 2 microphones here. So you can use S-Voice. You can launch S-Voice either via the menu here, or you can push the side button here, double push on it, and then it will launch S-Voice. So you can call people. You can check notifications or appointments that way. And To go to the previous menu, you would just swipe downwards. If you swipe up, it will give you your dialer for your phone. And then a 2-finger double tap will give you settings to adjust the screen brightness and the volume. The Galaxy Gear does have 4 gigabytes of storage on the device itself, so this way you can go ahead and capture all your photos, and then you can go ahead and have it automatically sync and transfer to your phone or tablet right away, or you can manually sync it later. So I'm Changwen. This is a quick video look at the Samsung Galaxy Gear. At this time, the Gear does come with a limited number of third-party applications, and hopefully Samsung can use its clout to get developers to create more applications for users that take advantage of the Gear's either the accelerometer, the speaker, the microphone, or even the front-facing camera. So in the future, hopefully we're going to see is more augmented reality apps and just apps that take a different use or a different interaction with this new form factor where you're wearing the device all the time. So it's a nice feature. The camera is actually quite robust for what it is, and I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a shutter sound, and the shutter, you can't turn off the sound, so you can't go around and take pictures of people without them knowing it, so you can't just be a creep around people. So it's a nice feature for privacy, for those who are concerned about privacy. So be sure to visit us on gottabemobile.com for additional information about the Galaxy Gear. I'm Changwen. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.